Today I would like to give you a few tips how to make this tune sound a bit more romantic. And so on. It's called, or rather I call it, Blue Eyes. The full translation of the title is How Beautiful Your Blue Eyes Are, and the Hungarian title is unpronounceable. So yes, it's a Hungarian song originally, and this is a little mini tutorial where you do need the sheet. You can find in the description a link where to get it from. So it sounds already very nice if you read it just like a classical score, but there's a lot of little things you can do to make it sound slightly more authentic and much more pretty and romantic. So I put already two little ornaments in there. Let me explain you what I'm doing. On this E, the first note of the second bar, I put a little ornament going via the higher note to the lower note. And then to the A, I put a little run, just like rolling my fingers. I was once told by a Gypsy Romani player that in Hungarian music they don't like big jumps, so they fill them in by slides or runs, and that's one of these things you can do, a little roll and a nice little slide, not too much, just tastefully romantic. Rhythmical variations are also a nice little tool. Here in bar number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, for example, we have written all quavers, but instead of playing all quavers, you could do a dotted note in a semi-quaver for the first two. And then going to this E, last bar, first note, last bar of the first line, where you have an accent written, you can emphasize the accent very sweetly by putting a little fast and sharp mordent on it. And again into the last note, I play this little ornament going via the higher note down. Now for the virtuosos amongst you, I have even a different version how to play it. You can go all the way up. Like Hungarian Gypsy musicians, they like a lot going up on their G string, and that's what you can do. Of course, this one only works for violins. And then I come down again by, for example, doubling up this E. Going into the second part, you have this jump from the last note E to the first note of the next part, C. And you can fill this in, for example, by a little upbeat. I played arpeggio notes, E, A, and then a little filling note, B, C. Or you can do it easier, just playing A, B, C, and this will do the trick. And if you want to put a little bit more emphasis, you can put an extra mordent on the first note. You actually could also play a mordent on the second note instead. This is completely up to your taste, which note feels more romantic to you when you emphasize it. So, again, nice little slides helps. So going into this B and going down again. We violinists can do all these nice position changes. which are very fitting for this style of music. And this section, I don't put actually many ornaments in. I might play instead of this one D sharp, I might double it. And then do a nice slide upwards. Very important is also your articulation. I start very legato. And then I put this little shortened notes, little bit marcato in there, which just gives a nice little interesting change. And leads very nicely into this slide. And then here I again often play going via the higher note down. Here, from the ending of this third phrase, going back to the last phrase, which is the same melody as the first, you can either do the link which is written, which is like a walking bass line leading from the dominant back down to the tonic A, but you can make this a little bit nicer. So I just use this figure with semiquavers leading down, and it just sounds a little bit more virtuoso, and the ending part is the same as the beginning, so we know it already. On the sheet, which you can get from the link below, it's written in this low octave, and I often like to start in this really, really heavy, slow way. And I put a very sharp estam accompaniment underneath. And so on. You have it also written in the higher octave, which you can do the same way and just transfer the ornaments. I often like to do this one faster and lighter. Then also with a lighter accompaniment. And so on. When we go in the higher octave on the violin, we can use our harmonic on A string. Now for this one, you can do a very similar introduction, like upbeat with arpeggio notes, or you also can play this little run, which is actually containing an F sharp. If you look at the last chord before this part, it's E minor, so it represents basically a bit of an E minor scale. And you can either do it separate or you roll it up. And then all very similar to how you do it in the lower octave with ornamentation. Now for this run down, what you can do to make it quite intense, you can add your open E string and you have a really powerful leading in to the last part, which is the same as the first again. Or you can do the same. Either you end it here, or you just go straight into another, maybe a little bit faster tune. So I hope this was helpful and you will have fun practicing, performing and playing this one. And if you have any questions, just put them in the comments. Once in a while I check them and I will answer you. You always can also drop me an email. See you soon!